What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Through It All podcast. We are here at the Box in Costa Mesa, and sitting in front of you, Coach Mario Angelito, founder of the Box here. So Coach Mario has been training people, working with people in the boxing industry for 23 years, and just easily the best person I've seen with a jump rope. So super cool dude, just like all the other guys here, and I'm fortunate for your time. I appreciate you coming today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Thank you, man. And just kind of to get into it, so you teach a boxing fitness class, obviously like just a class, 10 a.m. on Saturdays. And I showed up for the first time with the guy who we had on earlier, Sean, and you pushed me to my max. Like I played basketball, so I kind of feel like I was in decent shape, but when I got to this, it was just ridiculous. Like, it was the hardest workout I've had to that date, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the next hardest one was the following Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So why do you push people to their max even if they're not trying to be, like, in the ring all the time? What does that mean to you?
So, everybody is different, right? And we all move different. We all play different sports. But there comes a time and place for us for boxing. It's a survival type of movement. And so I implement kind of like real life situations where, like, hey, when you're in the ring, you're fighting for your life, right? Mm-hmm. And versus, hey, catch this ball, or hey, throw the ball at me and let me try to hit it. Versus when there's punches flying at you and you gotta evade from one side of the ring to the other side of the cage, or in life in general, you gotta evade punches if somebody's attacking you. So I try to think about all the scenario situation, what muscles, what exercise can help you to evade shots, to actually get away and move and not get punched and become a victim. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's the difference between my type of training versus traditional trainings when you're training for a certain sport, like tennis, basketball, football. So that's why we, the first day that you came through, we were sprinting from one angle, we were jogging to another angle, then we were sprinting to another angle. So it's just movement, you know what I mean? So I want to teach people to use their fast twitch muscles and also stay active with their slow twitch muscles. So that's a little bit of what I like to implement in my training system, if it makes any sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I really liked when I think I alluded to a question similar to this a while back, where it was like, you're like, if I drop you off in war, I know that when you went through the workouts, you're going to make it because if I didn't do it, then like you said, I failed as a trainer, or what was the exact way you...
So let's just say, like if I know after you train with us, you know what I mean? And worst case scenario, somebody drops you off in war, like in the middle of a battle zone, dude, your whole survival instincts are gonna kick in. You're gonna have to crawl. Like if I tell you, hey Connor, I want you to crawl half a mile only on your elbows, not using your knees. Yeah. You're gonna be Mario. That's impossible. But with someone shooting at you, bro, and your life is on the line, you're gonna crawl. Yeah. You're not gonna use your legs, because if you use your legs, you're gonna get shot. Like, let's just say that's the rule, or that's the price you gotta pay. So you're gonna use your elbows and you're gonna crawl. Your elbows are probably gonna be bleeding, but you're gonna make it all the way from point A to point B. You're gonna make it. So it's the same thing. That's why I was kind of telling you, like, when you train with us, I know if I drop you off at war after 8 weeks training camp with us, I know you're gonna survive, because I know that your mentality is gonna change. It's not gonna go. It's like, oh, do I want to train like this? Or you're gonna be like, shit, I gotta I just gotta finish this workout. Otherwise, how am I gonna fucking get home? You know what I mean? Like, and you gotta change your mentality of training. You gotta think you're going to war. You gotta survive. You gotta make sure that all of your senses are alert, and you're like not doing this because, oh, I have to do this. I just want to look cool. I mean, you've been to our workouts. There's no what's it called? Like, hey, take a little break and have a little sip of water. It's like, it's a survival thing,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like I told you, it's literally changed the way I operate and think, and it's changed my life. So, honestly, to anyone out there and you're in the area, I 1,000% recommend. So, what kind of got you into boxing, and who was someone that kind of guided you on the path to where you're at now, like a mentor almost?
You know, so I grew up in Santa Ana in the 90s, and it was a really, really rough time, you know, in Santa Ana. There's a lot of gang activity, a lot of, you know, and I was the oldest of all my brothers and sisters, you know, so I didn't have any guidance with like older brothers to protect me or to show me like, hey, don't go around here, don't go there. I just kind of had to find out everything on my own, and it was rough sometimes, you know, because I had to learn the hard way. So
Yeah.
I knew at a young age because I was getting bullied a little bit by the older kids, the gang member kids, you know what I mean? And I knew that I needed to fight. Like, I never wanted to play soccer. I never wanted to play baseball when I was little. I wanted to watch just wrestling, kung fu movies, Bruce Lee's.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed, like, but I think it was because of the environment that I grew in. I really didn't have a choice but to kind of like, I want to learn how to defend myself. You know, I didn't have older brothers, like I said. I didn't have like older cousins. I'm one of the oldest of all my siblings, and you know, so I kind of had that itch of like learning how to defend myself. So I had my mom's long distance cousin. He's older, around like, you know, my mom's age, and he used to go to weightlifting gym when he was younger, you know. And then he told my mom, hey, there's like a little boxing program for Mario. You think he can come? He can come with me the days that I go, and that's how I started. I in 1990, like that was yeah, that was like what, like 30 years ago. Yeah, pretty much, I think. Yeah, so I'm 42 now, so I fell in love the first day I walked in the gym. I saw kids sparring, and I said, and I knew it was legit. It wasn't like, I knew kung fu was like kind of a little bit staged and stuff like that when you saw movies, but then when you saw like boxers box on pay-per-view or on live TV, you knew it was a serious sport, you know. And then I immediately fell in love with it, and I stayed there. It was called the Jerome Center in Santa Ana, so that's where I started at.
Man, so when you mentioned that you grew up in an environment that was like really rough and you didn't have anyone to kind of look up to, how did you kind of navigate through that on a day-to-day basis where it's like, you know, like it gets rough out there? So did you just like say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get out of here with and use boxing as like a tool, so I could just use boxing, and then whether it's fighting, I know you had a career fighting and then you switched to training, so kind of go into that process, like you picked it up at the Jerome Center, boom, that was kind of your way out, and then now you're training people.
Yeah. So look, I had two choices. I was either gonna end up I had to join a gang. Like almost all the kids when I was growing up, they had to either go gang banging or they would just get into sports. And I knew that like the older homies like in the neighborhood would be like, hey, if you're gonna be, you know, in sports stuff like that, they kind of like would look up and that like, oh, hey, he's a good kid, you know, like leave him alone, don't mess around with him. Or they were like, hey, what's up with you? You gonna jump in or we're gonna have to fuck you up every day you pass through. So I kind of, yeah, you're right. I had to kind of use it as an escape from everything. And then I started noticing they would leave me alone because they were always gonna go box, you know. And they would see me come back with my little hand wraps, and you know, I would take my little bike around like to get to the other side. I would have, when I first started, my cousin started taking, my mom's cousins used to take me first, and then he kind of got busy and stuff like that, but he couldn't go anymore. Then I had to like run. At 10 years old, I was running 3 miles one way and then running 3 miles on the way back.
Jeez.
So I was on one side of the city, and the only boxing gym that was available to me was on the other side of the city. I was getting to another city. So at 10 years old, bro, in the 90s with gangbanging, shooting, I was running through neighborhoods where it was like really dangerous. So I just kept telling my mom that, like, you know, I was getting rides and stuff like that from friends, and they were dropping me off. But I had to lie a little bit because my mom was really concerned that kids would, you know, try to hurt me, or like just gang members and stuff, you know. So long story short, I ended up, you know, competing in amateurs. Back then I couldn't. Now people fight a lot, you know, but I fought 20 times. I lost my first fight, and then after that I was like, I didn't lose any fights until, you know, I was gonna turn pro, and and then that's another another story. But yeah, and that's how I kind of I just finished high school, and then I started working a little bit. You know.
So you were doing your fighting stuff, and then I remember you telling me a while back that then you like this guy said, hey, can you train me? And then boom, you just started training people, and now
Oh yeah.
20 years
Yeah,
later.
so you know, I just what's it called? I ended up at a working in Tustin, California, and I met what's it called? A couple of people that said, "Hey, there's a gym by your house." You know, I was out of high school already at this time, and they pointed me out to the gym that was nearby, and I ended up going there. There was a bunch of like MMA guys. There was like a bunch of what's it called? Boxers, and I was like, "Oh, it's pretty cool," you know. So I went in there and I ended up you know, just training and getting ready so I can go pro, because I already had an amateur experience, and I was you know, and at Jerome Center I used to train with, at the age of 16 I was already sparring with like world champions, old school world champions. I was getting schooled by them, you know. But so when I got to Tustin, I was like, these guys were like new. MMA was kind of new, and the boxers that were there, they weren't as polished as the guys that I was training at the Jerome Center. So it was easy for me. I was like, oh shoot, this is pretty easy. But then I started getting serious, and then I decided I was gonna go and go pro. But one of the MMA fighters, he was super famous at the time. He hit me up and said, hey, can you help me out a little bit with hands, because I'm gonna go to Japan, and I need to get my hands ready. So I said, man, I got a fight coming up, and he ended up saying, hey, well, I'll take care of you, like, you know, your finances, but please help me out for this fight. And then he's a good dude, so good friend of mine. And then I ended up just working with him, and when he came back, like, he did so good down in Japan that like a lot of people started, hey, who's helping you out? And then I kind of got put on the map, and after that, you know, and then I went from I gotta fight again. Another guy hits me up and it's like, hey, can you help me out with my hands? And another, like, you know, one famous guy after another famous guy started hitting me up, and at the time they were famous, you know, and then it kind of created a chain effect, like a chain reaction, and everybody started like, hey, well, go to this guy and go to this guy, and then I ended up just like by accident coaching, you know, and I was making way more money than I would have been fighting boxing. I would have been like just barely surviving, you know. I was working at a gas station, and I was going to college, and it was rough for me, you know, like to be a fighter, because I didn't, you know, my mom was like a single mom, you know, and she kind of raised us on her own, so it was hard for me to like tell her at that time, you know, to help me excel in my career when she barely had enough to feed my brothers and sisters, you know. So I saw that as an opportunity to kind of help myself. I made triple, quadruple the money that I was making at a gas station, you know, just training these guys for a few hours a day. So I kind of hit a little niche, I guess, you know, like a little glitch of, you know, making money and still do what I love to do is train, you know. So I ended up staying with that group, and my coaching career began right there at 20 years old. Man. I was like one of the youngest coaches too in Orange County at the time, so it was pretty cool, you know, great experience.
That's so awesome. So you went from not even being a trainer on your peripheral to, I know you mentioned you work with a current Eagles player right now, and you worked with Kobe.
Back then, well, my friend Andre, he used to train Kobe, and I used to train the wife and stuff, you know, and it was good timing back then, you know. We were at LA Boxing, I believe it was still before they turned into UFCs, and you know, it was great, like meeting we met so many people, you know, going through the boxing world, you know, and it was always just like you never knew who would walk through the door, you know. It was like famous. I really don't like talking about like actual names, because it just kind of like, that's where I want to keep it humble for myself, because I just, you know, but people that know me and they go to my social media, they can see like, oh damn, he's trained with this guy, he trained that guy, and so they can kind of see that. But I think that's what makes me a little bit more like on the unique side, where like I don't really like throw names out there. if they want to know who I train, they just go to my social media and then they can see like, because you know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Like, so it's better that my work speaks for itself, you know.
I love that, man.
Yes.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you guys here, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm so, because I've never been to a boxing gym before
Yeah.
this, right? Only basketball, only lifting. And I come in here and it's just like instant, like I feel this sense of, I said this earlier, like huge community.
Yeah.
Everyone's pulling for each other to like, I mean, you might be pushing people to their max potentials and they might not like it just because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But at the end, it all comes from the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys are huge family people. So
I guess that's how it works, right? Like, you know, I mean, your teammates, your basketball teammates, you rely on one another, right? So same thing here. Like, we rely on each other's energy. Like, oh, John Connor's here, Sean's here, Soto's here. Oh, it's gonna be a great workout. But when sometimes you're like, oh, like, we don't know this guy, we don't know that, the energy kind of changes, you know. But when we all kind of know each other, we know how we can push each other. You know that I got your back, you got my back, and we're not gonna leave any man down, you know. We're gonna crawl together if it's necessary, but we're gonna get the job done, you know. So
my man.
That's how family orientation is big for us here, you know.
And then just one more. What does Through It All mean to you, the name of the podcast?
Oh, well, you know, through it all is like kind of sharing what everybody does, you know, for, you know, as their careers, and for people to listen to it is really important. You know, I say more like an education, you know, good education for everybody to kind of listen. It's good. Like, look, when you go to school, you listen to your teachers, right? And because of teachers, we know how to count. We know how to, you know, pay our bills, pay our rent. We know how to draw things. We know how to give directions. We owe this all to teachers, and I think what you guys are doing is teaching a lot of people different things, you know, throughout, you know, right. You still remember your first kindergarten teacher, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you owe a lot to that person taught you how to, like, you know, stand on a straight line.
Yeah.
Gave you manners immediately, you know what I mean? Like, gave you a couple color crayons, and then you knew how to, like, draw little things, you know, or maybe your name, or, you know, we all need that guidance, and I think you guys are doing a great thing with that.
What would you say is the biggest risk that you took? Like, I know obviously opening a gym, that takes a lot of like risk and, you know, mental fortitude to say, hey, I'm going for it and I'm gonna just live with whatever happens. So talk about how you founded it, opened it, all that stuff.
So, you know, it takes courage, like you said. Everything takes courage. Even to get in the ring, just to spar a little bit, takes courage. So all my life I've been fighting, you know. So it came to a point, I'm 42 years old, and it came to a point in my life where I was like, hey, I gotta stop making all these other, like, gyms rich, man. Because I mean, from your experience, you see how we assembled like a great team, right?
Incredible team,
you know. And I know these guys for a long time. Soto, like a bunch of other, my friend Armando Santa Cruz, like 4-time world champion, and then many others, dude. Like, I worked for my old friend Rampage Jackson. I helped out open up his gym. He's one of the pioneers that got me into coaching back in the day. You know, Dave Roberts, Hector Ramirez, a lot of guys. You know. Anyways, you know, it takes courage to open something up, and I've been working for all these companies, you know, and I see that they became super successful, and I don't want to, like, be not a humble person, but I know what I'm worth. So I brought a lot of people to these gyms and connected everybody together. We had great sparring teams. We had a lot of victories. We had some losses, you know, like everybody loses, but, you know, I'm really proud of this, you know, but I got like a 95% winning rate, you know what I mean, when it comes down to fights. Because we do preparation really good, like how Soto said, 8 weeks, bro, of hell, you know, 8 weeks of hell. The preparation is the hardest part. So, you know, assembling great teams like that, it encouraged me to open up my own place. I was working at the last place I was working at was a pretty like legit gym. It was a lot of bodybuilding and weightlifting, but I used to rent a little area where I had all my boxing equipment and my boxing area, you know. And so I used to see that a lot of the coaches there, the weightlifters, they were like driving Lamborghinis, R8s. We were driving like exotic cars, and I started seeing like this is kind of like a trend, and I was like, am I staying behind? Is this like the new thing, the new way of like coaches gotta like look a certain way or drive a certain car in order for them to get a lot of clients? Because these guys were killing it, bro. They were like client after client, and they were just like driving their Lambos, their Ferraris, and I was like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. And it opened my eyes a little bit, so I said, man, I'm just gonna focus and just through the pandemic, I ended up just saving all my money, just working really hard. When people were like, hey, can you train me at 5 in the morning? I'm there, dude. I'm there. Can you train me on Saturday? Can you train me on Sunday? I was there, dude. When nobody wanted to train other people, I was training people, dude. So I what's it called? Saved enough money, dude, to buy me cash, an exotic car. And I said, damn, man, when I was like, holy shit, like I looked at my account and I was like, oh shit, man, I got enough to go buy one. I mean, probably not the top one, like $1 million one, but I could have got a really decent one, and a really like a little starter one,
Yeah.
But hey, I didn't have to pay no finances. I was gonna go and boom, here's cash, give me a good deal. And then I ended up just, thinking about life and thinking about all the people that I work with, and I said, that's not me. That's not who I am. I love that those guys inspired me to do it because I was like, man, I think I gotta do that, because these guys are killing it. And then I realized that wasn't me. I love working people. I'm just driving a Honda, dude, right now, but I own my own gym, and so that's like the glory about all the whole little journey that I did, saving my money, working when nobody wanted to work. Everything was closed. Everybody was scared. I put my life on the line, bro, because the pandemic was killing a lot of people, and I knew I was taking a high risk, everybody's sweating on you. But at the end, I collected all those funds, and I just dug deep in my heart and I said, hey, what do you want to do, man? Do you want to drive a car that's a liability, or do you want to open up your own thing and stop making all these other people money? And make money for your family, for your friends, so you can help out. We got Sean working now.
You got Sean.
Sean's one of the best, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm able to help other people, And then I brought my brother Soto Carras from LA. I brought him out here, and now he's my right hand man when it comes down to the training. And I'm just really grateful to have a great team like that. There's a lot of guys that are helping out right now at the box. And I think that was the best decision I did, not to buy that exotic car, and invest my money in the right direction. Like where now I'm able to help, kids that are like underprivileged kids. Hey, come in, don't go out in the streets. Don't like I went through all of that, so I understand. So maybe we can help kids, youth that it's at risk. You know what I mean, and people that just want to lose weight, they want to gain control of their health again. I mean, they come through the door every week, and that's the joy and happiness that I'm enjoying now. Versus, the money's, I'll be a liar to say, oh, the money is not important. Yeah, because with money you can help people. If you use it in the right direction, you can feed more people. You can help your family. You can help friends in need. So the money will come at one point. Where I don't have to worry. And I say this because, like what we talk about, we created a great team. So it's growing. The box is growing. Costa Mesa is a great city. I mean, we're in between Newport and Irvine, Huntington Beach, Santa Ana. I mean, we're in the center, and then we're right next to the Triangle Square. So anybody that wants to come in and work out,
Amazing stuff, man.
Yeah.
Just one last thing.
Yeah, go for it.
I know you're a busy man, but what advice would you give to yourself at your lowest point?
When I was at my lowest point,
You are at your lowest point.
yeah, I've been at my lowest point many times, brother.
Yeah.
Many times. So look, I have this thing, right, where I tell to a lot of people, I said, hey, it's okay to mess up, Let's be honest, it's okay to fuck up.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a fuck up. It's okay to be a fucking, low life, a criminal, a druggie, drug dealer. It's okay. But what's not okay is to fucking stay there, dude. You gotta like get up and you gotta say, hey, I can't stay here. Like this is not a place for me to be here. But nobody can say, hey, I lived a perfect life, but it's what you want to do. Like that's what I had to tell myself. Hey Mario, I fucked up so many times. You fucked up here, you fucked up there, you messed this up, you messed that up. But you gotta at one point say, hey, do I stay there, or do I get up, dust myself off, and I just continue with my life, and for the good though. Like you wanna reverse what you did, in many ways by just doing the opposite. Get healthy. First of all, train your body. Fucking, if you think drugs, alcohol, all that shit's gonna, that's just to subside the pain. But hey, stop being a fucking lazy ass. Get up, work out, and get clarity in your mind. You know what I mean? Like you get. I don't care how hungover you are. You go for a fucking 5-mile run, 6-mile run. All that shit's coming out of your body. All that toxin and poison. And then you're gonna be like, damn, I'm so thankful that I did this. So that's the advice that I'll give myself first before I give it out to anybody.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man.
For sure, man.
Beautiful story, and I'll forever grateful for the
you.
principles you guys teach here. Because like for me, it's like, well, one of my good friends told me this. It's like there's so much stuff you can buy, but how like you guys shifted my perspective, and to me that's worth so much more than anything you could ever buy, because that's forever. So I appreciate you, man.
For sure.
My man.
Thank you for having me, man.
My man.
Woo! Yeah.
Good stuff, Coach.
There you go.